Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Freehold Regional High School District Virtual College Fair. We've got an exciting session today, some great information. Before we begin, let's start with a few housekeeping items. Note that if you have questions, you can do so using the Q&A button to type your question to the presenters at any time. Also note that your microphone and camera are off. Our panelists can't see or hear you. Be advised as well that there are additional StriveScan sessions available for institutions, so go ahead and sign up at your earliest convenience. Lastly, note that a recording is being taken and will be posted on the StriveScan website at strivescan.com/FRHSD. With that done, we'll turn it over to our first presenter from Lasell University.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jessica Snover, and I am an assistant director at Lasell University. Today, we're just going to go through a couple brief points about Lasell. That way you can kind of get a feel for what we have to offer up here. So let me just pull this up on my screen. Awesome. So we are Lasell University. We are in Newton, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Boston. We are 8 miles outside of Boston. And this is just a picture of what our campus looks like. So as I said, we're 8 miles from Boston, from the heart of Boston. We are a suburban campus nestled in the historic district of Newton. We have about 1,800 undergraduate students currently, which is a very nice size for college, I will say. It's nice because it's not super small where you see all the same people all the time, but it's small enough where you feel comfortable, and it's an environment where you really get to know your peers as well as faculty and staff on campus, which definitely rolls into my next point. So we have a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Like I said, it's a campus where you're getting to know your professors and the peers that you're working with, and it's just a really nice atmosphere. Our average class size is about 17. We typically cap our students at about 25. This just means, again, the smaller class sizes and the relationship building that happens with your professors. We do have a couple non-traditional degree options. So we obviously offer the 4-year bachelor's programs, but we also do offer a 3 years bachelor program as well as a 5-year master's degree option. In my next slide, I will actually be able to talk about some of the schools in our university and some of the majors that come with that. We also do have a graduate option. So like I said, the 5th-year degree, this includes an MBA or an MS in management. We also have MSs in communications and such. So that's really wonderful. Here at Lasell, our learning philosophy is a really big piece of it, at least, is connected learning. So connected learning here at Lasell is typically brought about in a couple of different ways. One is an internship experience. So 100% of our students have an internship before they graduate, which is amazing. Some programs require 1, some require 2. It really just depends on what you're doing. And obviously we help you find those internships. We also do have study abroad experiences, community service, and just different ways to get involved in the community and put what you're learning in your classes into play out in the real world, which is amazing. So our campus is also a pretty resident heavy campus. So this is a place where students are coming and staying on the weekends. They are definitely getting involved in clubs and organizations. So 80% of our students do live on campus in a typical year. Because of this, our students seem to be very involved. So we have over 70 clubs and organizations on our campus, and they range from Student Government Association to our Campus Activities Board, Hospitality Management Club, for all kinds of different things to be interested in. And then we also have NCAA Division III athletics. We are members of the GNAT conference, and we have 17 varsity sports. So within Lasell University, under the umbrella of Lasell University, we have 5 academic schools. And this just kind of breaks up how our programs fall. So we have our School of Business. This encompasses things such as entrepreneurship, management, finance, accounting, sports management, all of those lovely things. We also have a School of Communication and the Arts, which encompasses graphic design, as well as a lot of communication related majors. So PR, journalism, all those good things. We have a School of Fashion. This is very popular, and we also in that school have 3 main areas of study, which would be fashion design, fashion merchandising, and fashion media and marketing. We have a School of Humanities, Education, Justice, and Social Sciences. That is obviously a larger school. It has all of our education programs, and we also have English, psychology, justice studies, all of those good things. And then lastly, we have our School of Health Sciences, and that includes things such as forensics. We have biology, health science, and exercise science as well in those schools. If you're looking for a full list of what we have to offer, you can find that at the website below. That's all over our website. You can definitely find that there. And we have a 98% job placement rate after graduation, which is really impressive. So 6 months after graduation, about 98% of our students are in a job, which is awesome. So just some next steps. Obviously, our virtual spring open house just passed this past weekend, but we are still able to facilitate virtual info sessions for you. If you're looking for that, we can have a nice in-depth info session. I know this is only very brief. We also are having visits on campus, so you're more than welcome to come to our campus for just a tour and getting to meet with an admissions counselor, meeting with current students, all of that good stuff. And we do open our application on August 1st. So we are members of the Common Application. We are also opening our own application on August 1st as well. So feel free to start applying then. We do have a couple of application requirements. One obviously is the application. We do have an essay component that's also necessary. We do need a transcript, and we need at least one letter of recommendation. We are a test optional school, and we've been that way for a few years. So this is not the first year that we've been doing that. We've been that way since 2017. I've also included some FAFSA information and our code below, so feel free to jot that down. I know that's a little bit in the future, but worth having. And this again is my information, so feel free to take that down. If you have any questions, I am the admissions representative who works with New Jersey students. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you. We appreciate all the great information. On to our next presenter from Lesley University.
Hi, everyone. How are you? My name is Melissa Estman, and I am here from Lesley University. It is so nice to meet you all. I am part of the admissions team, and I'm really excited to introduce you to our community. So what is Lesley? We are a small university. We have about 2,000 undergraduate students. It's actually about 2,100. And we have about 46 majors, including 9 BFA programs or Bachelor of Fine Arts programs. And we are really an institution that specializes in one-on-one connections, mentorship, and lifelong relationships between our faculty and staff. The biggest class you'll probably ever see at Lesley is maybe 20 or 25, and that's going to be considerably smaller in a studio class or a lab. Our classes are highly discussion-based rather than lectures, and it really does foster that connection and allow you to dig deeper and really get into the subject matter on a really higher level. Okay, so there are 4 academic schools at Lesley. The College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, we call it CLASS. We love our acronyms at Lesley. And the College of Art and Design, LA+D, for undergraduate students. And then on the graduate side of the house, we do have the Graduate School of Arts and Social Sciences and the Graduate School of Education. All of our programs have natural pathways to graduate programs, and it's especially helpful with our focus on the human arts and helping professions. We know that many of our students are going to be seeking master's degrees or even beyond in their careers, so it can make it significantly less expensive and can be done in a lot less time. We actually are really excited. We have brought on a new program in interactive media. Just in the past few weeks, we'll be launching that in the fall. So that brings us up to, as I said, 9 BFA programs and a BA in art, as well as our other very well-known programs, of course, business, education, psychology, art therapy, social work, animation and motion media, fine art, illustration, and graphic design, among many others. So we're located in Cambridge, really lovely area, super exciting and dynamic, very much kind of jives with our campus community and who we are. Just within our city limits are 4 other schools. And of course, the Boston academic scene is kind of unparalleled. There's way more schools in the area than I could even list. But it brings a lot of opportunity for connection, networking, and of course, internships and careers, which we'll talk about as we move through the presentation. Cambridge is an extremely dynamic area, a lot of creative energy, and with our BFA programs and our students who do often move on to be working artists, it provides a lot of opportunity for professional growth. We do not have a closed campus. We are very much involved and rooted in the community, just as much as they are a big part of us. So it makes for a lot of really exciting and different experiences for our students. Our students are highly involved. I always like to say that Lesley students are kind of doing all the things. It is not a one size fits all type of place. And as such, we have a lot of ways to give back and get involved. We have more than 50 clubs. I actually think that number is kind of false because it's actually a lot, it's a lot more ever changing. It really depends on what our students are interested in. If there's not something that moves you, you have the ability to create something. If you want something different, bring it to our community. Our students are always willing to try new things. We have 14 Division III athletic programs, and all of these things combined to make Lesley an extremely active community. Lots of ways to get involved, lots of ways to challenge yourself, and lots of ways, to grow yourself as a professional and a member of society. So as I said, career focused, of course, we are definitely an outcome driven institution, and a lot of our students' activity does surround internships. Every single Lesley student will do at least one internship, but it's not uncommon for students to do 2 or 3 or 4. This is both because it might be required by program. For example, an education student may have 3 or 4 years worth of field placements. A social work student may have many different internship experiences required for licensure. But it's also just because our students are honestly truly hungry. They want to do all the things. They want to experience the world, and they want to make a name for themselves and get their foot in the door wherever they can. The brands and the companies that you're seeing on the screen are kind of the tip of the iceberg when it comes to where our students are interning and learning, and ultimately 96% of our most recent graduates are reporting employment in their field or continuing their education. So as I said, great things to be able to report. So the application process to Lesley is actually pretty straightforward, despite what this slide shows. We require the Common App. There is an essay component. We require your transcripts and a teacher recommendation. That's all you need to apply. We are completely test optional. This is our 3rd year. And please remember, the only difference will be if you are applying to a BFA program, you will need to submit a portfolio. But we do have BFA specialists who are available to work with you through that process, offer you feedback, and help you put forward the best work that you possibly can. I also like to mention that an interview or portfolio review individually is not required, but it's always strongly encouraged. And we're just ready to help you find your way. So best for last, scholarships are guaranteed. Everybody gets something. And we are really happy to help you start on your journey to your forever career. So thank you.
Thanks so much. We're on to our next presenter from the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences.
Hi, everyone. My name is James Donnelly, Assistant Director of Admission at MCPHS University. We are located right in Boston, Massachusetts. We are actually the oldest school in Boston. We were founded in 1823. And we are in an area called the Longwood Medical and Academic Area. So any student that's interested in the health sciences field, it's a premier school to go to. We have a wide range of programs, really about 100 different programs, as I'll get into, in 6 different schools within the university. We are also a member of the College of the Fenway, which is a 5-school consortium right in Boston. A few other schools here are in the consortium too. So I like to say you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get the small school feel, We're about 4,500 students at the Boston campus, and then the large school field at the same time through the COF consortium, about 15,000 students. The student faculty ratio is 16:1, so smaller class sizes. We really only have 3 larger lecture halls on our campus that you may find at a larger school, and then Boston's definitely our campus. So we're right in the city, smaller campus, everything is within walking distance. We have really only 3 main academic buildings, and then we share some of the residence halls with the surrounding College of the Fenway schools as well. So it's very easy to get around. As you see here, kind of highlights Boston as our campus again. We focus on interprofessional education, or IPE, which is really a collaborative teamwork approach that most students will get in the healthcare field. It's really team oriented. For example, if anyone's been to the doctor, you're not just seeing the doctor, but you're also seeing a nurse and maybe another medical professional as well. So for example, our health psychology students might work with our nursing students, our PA students may work with our pharmacy students, or vice versa. Again, all of the surrounding hospitals are teaching hospitals. So we welcome MCPHS students. For example, we try to ensure that students have at least 1 clinical rotation at one of these surrounding hospitals, such as Boston Children's Hospital, Brigham and Women's, Beth Israel, Mass General is not too far as well. So all these hospitals are really right in our backyard. We're a very diverse school, so we have students that come from all 50 states and about 100 different countries. And all students coming out of high school will start at the Boston campus first. Again, Boston is about 3,800 students, 4,500 students with grad students. And then we do have a Worcester, Massachusetts campus, which is about an hour west of Boston. And then we have a Manchester, New Hampshire campus about an hour north of Boston as well. So a wide range of programs on campus. And these are all of our majors. So again, wide range of majors, about 100 different opportunities here for students. Our School of Dental Hygiene, our School of Medical Imaging and Therapeutics, and our School of Nursing are accelerated schools. So the major difference with these schools is that these students actually get a bachelor's degree in 3 years. So there's a fall, spring, and summer semester component the first 2 years. So nursing, anyone thinking of nursing, dental hygiene, or medical imaging, anyone thinking of the School of Arts and Sciences, any of our pre-med programs and our pre-med pathway programs, School of Pharmacy, occupational therapy or physical therapy, or more traditional style programs. And a lot of our students go on for graduate or even doctorate level study. For example, our top 3 majors are our School of Pharmacy. Our doctorate of pharmacy is a 6-year doctorate in pharmacy, actually all at our Boston campus. We have pre-med health studies, and then nursing as well. Those are probably our top 3 majors. But a lot of students, I would say about 70% will go on for graduate level study, or they're employed 6 months after graduating from MCPHS. And we're a Common App member school, so it's free to apply. There's no application fee. The application will open in August for students that are rising seniors here. What we look for is we look for your official high school transcript, and then we look at your science, your history, your English and math courses. And we're looking at your courses up until your junior year. So your official high school transcript. We look at 1 letter of recommendation. It just has to be an academic letter of recommendation from a teacher or a school counselor. 2 essays. So the Common App essay, and then also there's an MCPHS specific essay, really just stating what your passion is for the healthcare field and why you applying to MCPHS. And then we did waive the SAT, ACT requirements this year for students. We're also an early action member school. So early action is great because it's non-binding. There's no commitment to MCPHS if you're accepted. Early action 1 is November 1, and 2 is December 1st. And then the FAFSA will open up on October 1st as well. For any senior students. We are offering in-person walking tours on our campus starting in this month in April. So every Saturday in April, we have walking tours for students to visit the campus. And then I just want to touch on housing a little bit as well. So we have housing guaranteed for all first-year students, and there's 3 different styles of housing. So we have suite style housing, apartment style housing, and more traditional style housing. And in the second year, students generally go off campus and they'll live in off-campus apartments around the Mission Hill Fenway area in Boston. Unfortunately, we don't have any NCAA affiliated sports, but we do have intramural sports for students and about 70 clubs and organizations to get involved with. But again, my name is Jimmy. I will put my contact information in the chat, and thank you all.
Jimmy, thanks so much. We're on to our next presenter from Emmanuel College.
Great. So hello, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Awesome. Like I said, I'm Olivia. I'm one of the assistant directors of admissions at Emmanuel. Here is my contact information, and I'll type it at the in the chat at the end too, so everyone has it. So we are also right in Boston. We're right down the street from Fenway Park, also kind of in the Longwood Fenway area with a few other schools who are here today as well. So we have about 1,900 undergrad students. They're coming from 35 different states and 42 different countries. And we definitely have a kind of best of both worlds situation on campus. So we have 4 years of housing available, which is definitely something kind of unique considering we are, right in the city, right in the middle of everything. So 4 years of housing is available. Over 90% of our freshmen live on campus, and more than 86% of our total student population lives on campus. We have 70 different major minor programs split up into 5 different academic schools. So we have business management, education, humanities and social sciences, nursing, which is our newest school, and then science and health. We have 16 Division III sports, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and a lot of different, activities and things happening on campus. We are a small school, so, like a lot of other schools here have talked about today, we have a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Class sizes usually cap out at about 30. Average class size is about 20. And then for lab classes, those will max at 20. So you're not going to be, in big lecture halls. You're not going to have to deal with that. You're going to get to know your professors really well and going to get to know your classmates really well too. So everyone at Emmanuel will complete at least one internship before they graduate. It's part of their graduation requirements, but it's definitely not meant to, be intimidating or anything like that. Everyone will get a career advisor who kind of helps them through the process, helps them look for jobs, all that good stuff. And freshmen have the opportunity to take a course that'll go over cover letters and resumes, all those things so our students feel confident, going out and looking for those jobs. You guys can see some employment stats and grad school placement stats up on the side. Those are both for a year after graduation. And you can see up on the other side of the screen just a very small selection of some of the places our students have gone on to grad school and, different employers and things like that. Most of our students will do their internships right in Boston. Like other people have said today, there are so many opportunities happening right here in our backyard. Students are definitely taking advantage of those. There's just so many different things to explore, in all different fields. Like I was saying, Longwood Medical is, it's basically in the neighborhood we're in. Boston Children's is right down the street. Beth Israel is back there. So a lot of students will go there, do internships. And again, it's not just, students who are nursing or students who are interested in bio. Business majors end up in those places too. So there's definitely a lot going on right in our neighborhood. Like I said, we have 16 Division III sports teams. You guys can see them up on the screen here. We also have a lot of intramural sports and club sports as well. Some of those are right through the colleges of the Fenway, which I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about today since, like Jimmy was saying, there's a few different COF schools here today. There's 5 of us in total. So we do a lot together, and clubs and intramurals are definitely one of those. We also have 3 gyms on campus, which is really nice. You can go to all 3, kind of pick the one that you like the most. There's also a lot of walking and biking paths around campus, which is nice. We have a big green space, a big quad on campus as well. Definitely looks and feels like, a traditional college campus, but we are right in the city. So you kind of go out the front entrance and everything is right there. So for a small school, there's definitely a lot going on. We have over 100 different clubs and activities. Again, if there's a club that you're interested in that isn't on this list, you can start your own. This list is always kind of growing and changing based on interests, but there's all kinds of things to get involved with. There's academic clubs, there's social clubs, cultural organizations, music. We are a Catholic institution, so there's an Office of Mission and Ministry on campus. A lot of community service goes on through that office. More than 80% of our students participate in some kind of community service, totaling about 50,000 hours a year. It's not a requirement. It's just something that people are really interested in. I think that kind of speaks a lot to the type of students we have. Our students care about each other and they care about our Boston community. So a lot of community service happens on and off campus. They'll do, alternate spring break, kind of do a service trip. They do Habitat for Humanity, all that good stuff. So lots going on. Again, like I said, some of this is through the colleges of Fenway and some is right on campus. So there's always, a chance to, expand your circle, meet more people, in our Fenway neighborhood and just the Boston community in general. Like everyone's saying, there's so many colleges around. I don't think you could run out of people to meet or run out of things to do. I can also talk about study abroad. So we have over 500 different programs in 65 countries. Again, some of those are right through Emmanuel, some are through outside programs, but there's a whole office of study abroad on campus and they can help you find a program that's going to be the best fit for you. Just some requirements, pretty standard. Again, we're on the Common App. It's free to apply. We'll get your application essay, we'll get your transcript. We need 2 letters of rec, one from a guidance counselor and one from a teacher. TOEFL scores is for international students, and we are test optional. We've been test optional for about 5 or 6 years, but if anyone is interested in nursing, we might be requiring those test scores again, kind of to be determined. Here are just some dates and deadlines. Again, if anyone's interested in nursing, definitely recommend that you apply early. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Again, here's my contact information, but I'll type that again in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate the great information so far. We're on to our next institution, Wentworth Institute of Technology.
Oh, sorry, everyone. Hello, my name is Rob Sliney, and I am so happy that everyone was able to make it to our presentation tonight to learn more about our community and our school. As seen here, we are located right in the city of Boston, and as others have stated before, we are also a member of the colleges of Fenway. And so if you can see on our picture on the board here, our campus is in the foreground, but directly to the left of us is Emmanuel College and Mass College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. So when we say that we're kind of a consortium and a community in and of itself, it's truly something pretty special that we're able to kind of bond our schools together because we are so close together. But however, Wentworth does have its specific identity. We were originally founded in 1904 as a technical school with the purpose of furnishing education in the mechanical arts. And today, Wentworth has grown into a nationally ranked university that specializes in degree programs such as engineering, computer science, design, management, and sciences. And you can see a list of all 20 of our majors listed here. Our school is divided into 5 colleges: the School of Architecture and Design, the School of Computing and Data Science, the School of Engineering, the School of Management, and the School of Sciences and Humanities. And there are a couple of things I would like to highlight here. Our architecture major is an optional 4+1 program, which means that after completing your 4-year bachelor's, Wentworth students can follow up with a 1-year master's program. And this master's degree would be a professional degree that's typically required for licensingers and things like that. Our 2 newest majors are cybersecurity and applied sciences, which we are seeing a large increase of interest in, especially since cybersecurity is such a rapidly emerging field. We also offer 21 different minors. So if you're looking at this list of majors and thinking that there are other topics you really want to hone in on, adding a minor is an option to you as well. So if you're a student, why would you choose to come to Wentworth? You would choose to come to Wentworth if you prefer action-oriented learning. Wentworth provides an authentic real-world platform for our students with our hands-on project-based curriculum and renowned co-op program. You spend your days putting ideas into action. We feel it's especially important for our tech, science, and design-heavy majors that we give you the spaces and the technology needed for you to have those experiences. And as a result, we have 24 state-of-the-art laboratories and maker spaces on our campus that our students can take full advantage of the minute that they walk on campus. And one of the key differentiators of our action-oriented learning curriculum is our co-op program. So at Wentworth, every student is required to complete 2 full semesters of co-op. And the co-op is similar to an internship, except it is full-time, and at Wentworth, you are required to be paid in your co-op position. Almost all majors complete these in their junior and their senior years, with the exception of architecture majors who will complete their co-ops in their sophomore and junior years. And these co-ops can be done anywhere. A lot of our students choose to stay right in Boston. However, some may choose to go back to their home states or even explore a new state or new city in the country to pursue their co-ops. We have a dedicated team of co-op advisors who walk our students through that process and connect them to resources like resume review, on-campus interviews, and co-op fairs. On the slide, you can see just a small sampling of where our students end up and how their co-op semester set them up to do so well after graduation. And because our students are graduating with almost one whole full year of real work job experience, our students are finding jobs more easily because of the skill sets that they've gained while they were on their co-ops. And as a result, 97% of our students accepted a job or were enrolled in a graduate degree program within 6 months of graduation with a median starting salary of $64,000. And as mentioned by schools earlier in the presentation, we really are in a dynamic part of Boston where our university is located. Our campus stretches across 31 urban acres at the very hub of Boston, a diverse and dynamic tech-focused city. We also really are a campus in the city as well, with quad and the trees and outdoor places for our students to hang out. Our buildings are all adjacent to each other, so there's no need for shuttles around campus. It's very walkable. We even have an indoor bike shelter for our students. Fenway Park is less than a mile away, and the Prudential Center is also right down the street from us. And we're surrounded by multiple museums, including the Museum of Fine Arts and the Isabel Stewart Gardner Museum, which is actually right across the street from our soccer fields. We're also sandwiched right between two MBTA T stops on both the Green Line and the Orange Line, which makes the city really accessible to our students. And it's pretty easy to navigate for anyone who may not be familiar with the city yet. Now, what do you need to send in to us in order to have a completed application? Well, we'll need 4 big things from you. One would be the application itself, and we're on the Common Application, and we have our own application on our website as well. A high school transcript is required. 1 letter of recommendation. We'll look at as many letters of recommendations that you submit. However, only 1 is required. There is an application fee. However, Wentworth is test optional, and we have been for 2 years now. The decision to submit your test scores is entirely yours to make. Admissions will only use your test scores if the scores help your chance of being admitted, but you do not need to submit scores to us for admission or for additional scholarship consideration. Additional information may be needed for transfer students. However, if for engineering majors, for computer science majors, and applied math and applied science majors, we recommend that you take pre-calculus. So if you're a junior now and you're debating whether you're going to take stats or calculus, if you are applying to a program like Wentworth, we definitely recommend you take the calculus route. But thank you very much for taking the time to hear us speak this evening. And if you have any questions, I'll put my information in the chat. But thank you very much.
Thank you. We're on to the representative from our last institution, Northeastern University.
All right, hello everyone. Sorry, just getting this all set up. So my name is Stephanie. I am one of the assistant directors here at Northeastern. If you see the chat, I actually put down my colleague Greg DeLorco's information. I cover part of New Jersey, but he covers this location of New Jersey. So if you have any questions, highly recommend reaching out to him, as he'll be your counselor throughout the application process. So similar to most of the schools that have presented today, we are also located in Boston, which is land from the Massachusetts, the Wampanoag, and the Nipmuc indigenous tribes. And as you've probably seen in some of the photos, if you have a very close eye and know what Northeastern looks like, you probably have seen some of our buildings in some of the pictures that were on Emmanuel, as well as MCPHS and Wentworth's pictures, because we do share kind of a sidewalk with a couple of those schools. So here at Northeastern, we want to make sure students are tailoring the education to fit themselves and kind of their academic interests. And so because of that, we have 8 different colleges and programs. So 7 colleges within the university, as well as one program called our Explore program for our undeclared students. We have these pretty cool things called combined majors, which are kind of like streamlined double majors, and they often cross colleges within the university, which really highlights the interdisciplinary approach that we take to academics here. Another way that we do that is through our New Path curriculum. So this is a core curriculum, so every student will have to take New Path, but instead of everyone taking the same math class, the same science class, this is actually competency based. So it allows students to really pick classes that they're genuinely interested in rather than taking a course just to fulfill a requirement while they're here. And by having these go across the colleges within the university, it can often lead to students finding out that there are other areas that they hadn't explored that they now maybe want to minor or maybe double major in. We also want to make sure that we're providing students with a vast amount of academic support here at Northeastern. So in addition to our academic advisors that are broken down by the colleges within the university, we also have co-op advisors, and I'll talk about co-op in just a second. And then we have professional track advisors. So these are going to be pre-health, pre-med, and pre-law advisors. So there's always a ton of people who are on campus able to help students. And even though we are a kind of mid to large size institution with about 18,000 undergraduates, we still are able to have that 14-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which really allows our students to create those one-on-one connections with professors. And we know that that can be really valuable to students' experiences here at Northeastern. So there are 4 different types of experiential learning that we offer for our students. And we don't actually require students to do one specific one. We just require them to do one of the 4. But I believe it's about 97% of our students will do at least one co-op before graduating from Northeastern. Our co-op experience is a little similar, but also a little different to Wentworth's in that instead of being a semester, it's actually a 6-month position with different companies. So we will have students go through a co-op prep course before they apply for these. So you'll be walking through how to apply for them, how to choose co-ops, what kind of works based on what your academic experience is and kind of where you want to see yourself. And so students can do up to 3 co-ops throughout their time at Northeastern. Students doing 1 to 2 will typically graduate in 4 years, while students who are doing 3 will typically graduate in 5, but it does kind of depend on what students are interested in. We also have a global experience office, and so we offer a wide variety of global experiences that aren't just studying abroad for a semester. We have short-term study abroads, we have co-ops that go abroad, and so over 50% of our student body will actually have a global experience before they graduate. We also have our research pillar. And so one thing that I really like to highlight is that being a tier 1 research institution, we are able to encourage students to do research as soon as their first semester on campus. And then lastly, we have our service component, which is in the form of service learning courses, where community service is actually built into your curriculum in the class. And so moving on from that, there's a ton of different ways that students kind of connect within Northeastern, but also in Boston overall. So we have over 500 student organizations on campus, and we are a Division I athletic school. So we have 18 different varsity teams, but then we also have a number of club and intramural sports. One of my favorite facts about Northeastern is that in a traditional year, there's about 13,000 events that happen on campus. Which means that there's often so many different activities happening for students that it's really exciting to be able to see students figure out where they want to invest their time while they're at Northeastern. We also have 40 different residence halls on campus. So we will require students to live in university housing for their first 2 years. And after that, it's up to them, but we will guarantee it for 4 years while at Northeastern. And we do something really cool called living and learning communities in students' first years, which is kind of like affinity-based housing. So that allows students to have that smaller community within the broader Northeastern community. And so one last thing I want to touch on is our cultural and resource centers. And what's really great about these is that we have all of these centers have their own spaces on campus, which really allows students to find their home away from home. And so lastly, just want to touch on kind of the application process. So you'll be able to see that we have a November 1st and a January 1st deadline. And one thing that I like to highlight is that we will evaluate all of our students for merit-based scholarships. So there's certainly no additional application that you'll need from us. But I know that my time is running out, so thank you so much for paying attention. And there is a link in the chat if you want to fill out information specifically for Northeastern, letting us know that you were here and that you're interested in hearing more from us.
Thank you. Some great information from all of our panelists today. In the time we have remaining, we're going to have a roundtable discussion around a few topics here I'll present to the group. The first of which is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? We'll ask our first panelist from Lasell to offer her perspective.
Sure. So my biggest piece of advice would be to be open-minded. You know, sometimes you have this dream of going someplace and then you walk on the campus and it may not be exactly what you pictured or what you imagined. And so through this process, you just have to be open-minded and willing to try new schools and just kind of see what works best for you. Just because something works best for someone else in your life doesn't mean that it'll be a best fit for you. So just be open and willing to work through this process in your own way.
Thank you. Next up, Lesley University.
Yeah, so I agree with just trust the process. There is a school for everyone. Even if it's not the one you thought was for you, that's okay. You'll find it. And don't be afraid to be your own advocate. Ask questions and think about whether or not the school that's hot or the school that's popular is the school that's going to help you get to where you want to go, or if it's the school that you feel you have to go to because it's where everybody expects you to go. Speak up, do your homework, and trust that you'll find the place that's going to help you get to where you need to go in your life.
Thank you. MCPHS.
Yeah, I would just kind of reiterate that, ask questions of the student tour guides, when you're on campus, professors, admissions counselors, especially throughout the admission cycle. Spend time on your college essays. That really allows you to tell your story, specifically with our school. I know we hold those essays in high regard as well. And, definitely visit when you can.
Thank you. Emmanuel College.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that was said here today. And I'll just kind of add on, definitely talk to current students if you can, whether that's in person, which is obviously ideal, but if somewhere's far away or you can only do virtual, definitely connect with them virtually. We're doing all kinds of different programs. I know all these different schools are too. So definitely talk to current students, kind of the best way to get a feel for, the school and, talk to people who may be future classmates. So definitely reach out to those students.
Thank you. Wentworth.
I would agree with what everybody has said so far. Some advice that I would give for someone going through the college search process is just to, again, I guess to reiterate, be open-minded and just really try to figure out what you're passionate about. Going to school, for 4 years is quite the investment. And if you have the time now to kind of just explore and figure out some things that you're passionate about and match them up with schools that you think that would be able to match that level of passion for you, that's a great opportunity to find a good fit for yourself. So I would say, take the time, figure out what you're passionate about, continuing to search, continue to do due diligence around your searching and try to find a program that matches the passion that you have for the topic that you're looking to study.
Thank you. Last but not least, Northeastern.
Yeah. So one piece of advice I would give is it's kind of funny, but keep your eyes on your own paper. So first and foremost, don't cheat. But also make sure you're not comparing yourself to any other students or any friends who are going through the process, because you can really only concentrate on your application and impact what you're writing and what you're showing us. So make sure that you're not constantly comparing yourselves with your classmates or your friends, and really just focus on making your application the most unique to you and kind of tell us what your interests are, and make sure that you stand out in your application.
Thank you. That's some great advice. And we will adjourn with that. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. We've got a quick 4-question survey we'd ask all of our prospective students to fill out so we can better improve the process for you. Also note that there are more sessions available on the StriveScan website, so look for institutions of your liking there and sign up as needed. Also be aware, like I said before, the session is recording and we'll post it to strivescan.com/FRHSD. Again, thanks to all of our panelists, our students. Hope everyone has a great night. Bye-bye.